They laughed at her in the hallways. Pointed, whispered, made cruel bets about how long until she drops out of college. The oversized clothes became a joke. The glasses, a nickname. Her silence, an open invitation for humiliation. Taylor learned to walk with her eyes on the floor, avoiding the stares that hurt more than words ever could. Until, in the middle of one of those laughs, something happened, something no one on campus was ready to witness. Because when the most popular guy stopped everything just to look at her, the question was no longer, why do they mock her so much? It became, what did they never see, and what are they about to pay for overlooking? Welcome to Lost Stories in Lyrics, the place where emotional stories will touch your heart. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from and smash that subscribe button. Taylor took a deep breath before pushing open the glass doors of the library. The weight of her backpack felt light compared to the heaviness in her chest every time she had to cross campus. It was 8:30 on a Monday morning, the perfect time to avoid most students, who didn't start showing up until after 9. She adjusted her thick-framed glasses as she walked between the shelves, heading for her favorite table tucked into the farthest corner. There, surrounded by books on architecture and design, she could disappear into her work without worrying about judgmental looks or whispered comments. The gray hoodie, 3 sizes too big, completely hid her body, and the faded jeans completed the look she'd built as armor over the past 2 years of college. The truth was, Taylor loved architecture with a passion few people understood. Her notebooks were filled with detailed sketches of buildings, homes, and structures she dreamed of creating one day. Late at night, alone in her small apartment, she designed entire projects, imagining every line, every space, every detail that could change someone's life. That was her escape. Her private world. A place where no one could mock her. But college had other plans. From the very first day, Taylor realized that what mattered there wasn't just what you knew, but how you looked while knowing it. The most popular girls on campus, led by Madison, a perfectly polished blonde in designer clothes, quickly established the social hierarchy. And Taylor, with her oversized clothes and quiet nature, was instantly labeled as someone not worth a second glance. She opened her laptop and started working on her semester project when she heard voices approaching. Her entire body tensed. Seriously, look at this. She's here again, hiding like always, Madison's sharp voice echoed between the shelves. It's impressive how someone can look so invisible. The laughter that followed cut through Taylor like blades. She kept her eyes on the screen, pretending not to hear, though her hands trembled slightly on the keyboard. I swear she shops in the men's section at thrift stores, Olivia, one of Madison's constant shadows, added. There's no way someone dresses like that on purpose. Taylor bit down hard on her lower lip. It wasn't by choice. It was protection. Every oversized piece of clothing, every neutral color, every plain accessory was an attempt to become invisible, to survive without collecting more scars than she already carried. Eventually, the girls walked away. But their words lingered like poison in the air. Taylor closed her eyes and breathed slowly, counting to 10 the way her therapist had taught her. She couldn't let this break her. She had goals. Dreams. A future. She just had to make it through 2 more years. The rest of the day unfolded predictably. In class, Taylor always sat in the back row, took meticulous notes, and avoided any interaction beyond what was strictly necessary. During breaks, she hid in quiet corners of campus, usually near the back garden where almost no one went. And that was exactly where everything started to fall apart. Taylor was sitting on a stone bench, absorbed in a book about sustainable architecture, when she heard footsteps approaching. Before she could react, her backpack was yanked from her side. Let's see what the library mouse carries around, Madison said, holding it up while Olivia and 2 other girls laughed. Give it back, Taylor stood up, trying to keep her voice steady. It came out shaky. Give it back, please, Madison mocked in an exaggerated, whiny tone. God, that's pathetic. They started tossing the backpack back and forth, forcing Taylor to chase after it like part of some sick game. Her notebooks, pencils, and drawings spilled onto the grass. One of the designs she'd spent weeks on was crushed under a high heel. Stop. The word burst out louder than she meant it to, loaded with everything she'd been holding inside. Or what? Madison stepped closer, her face inches from Taylor's. What are you going to do exactly? Tears burned behind Taylor's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not there. Not in front of them. She knelt down to gather her things, ignoring the laughter and cruel comments still raining down on her. Is this really necessary? A male voice cut through the air. Everyone turned. Jack Patterson stood a few feet away, hands in the pockets of his jacket, clear disapproval on his face. Silence fell instantly. Jack wasn't just popular, he was campus royalty. Basketball team captain. Student council president. The kind of smile people remembered. A family so influential the university practically bent around them. When Jack spoke, people listened. We were just joking, Jack, Madison said sweetly, her tone changing so fast it made Taylor's stomach turn. That didn't look like a joke, he replied, walking over to where Taylor was still kneeling. Are you okay? Taylor looked up and met his eyes for the first time. Warm brown. Genuine. Completely disarming. She nodded, unable to find her voice. Jack crouched down and helped gather her papers. These drawings are amazing, he said, studying one. Did you do this? Yes, Taylor whispered, quickly taking it from his hands and stuffing everything back into her backpack. Madison and her friends watched, stunned and furious. When Jack stood and offered Taylor his hand, the tension in the air was suffocating. Ignore them, he said quietly, just for her. They're not worth your time. Before Taylor could respond, he walked away, leaving her shaken and confused. Madison shot her a venomous look before storming off, her friends trailing behind her like an angry flock. That afternoon, Taylor returned to her apartment emotionally drained. The small space she shared with a rarely present roommate was her only true refuge. She dropped her backpack on the floor and collapsed onto the bed, finally letting the tears fall. Why did everything have to be so hard? Why couldn't she just fit in, be like the other girls, have friends, be noticed for something other than her awkwardness? She rolled onto her side, her gaze landing on the full-length mirror attached to her closet door. For a long moment, she just stared. The oversized hoodie. The glasses hiding half her face. The brown hair pulled into a messy, careless bun. Who was that girl? Did she even recognize herself anymore? The truth, one Taylor barely admitted to herself, was that this wasn't really her. It was a version built for survival. A shell formed after years of rejection and bullying that started back in high school. Beneath all that armor was a girl who loved art, who dreamed big, who maybe deserved to be seen. Maybe. Over the next few days, something strange happened. Jack started showing up wherever Taylor was. At the library, he chose a table nearby. In the garden, he passed through, by chance. In shared classes, he sat closer. Taylor didn't know what to do with that. Part of her suspected it was some elaborate prank, another cruel setup waiting to happen. But another part, small and terrified, wondered if maybe, just maybe, he actually meant it. Everything came to a head on a rainy Thursday. Taylor was leaving her design class when she felt a hand touch her shoulder. She turned to find Jack holding an umbrella, wearing that gentle smile she still couldn't decode. "Can I walk you to your next class?" he asked. Before she could answer, Madison appeared out of nowhere, slipping her arm through Jack's with possessive familiarity. "Jack, sweetheart, didn't you forget we have lunch with everyone?" she purred, her eyes icy as they locked onto Taylor. "Actually, Madison, Jack started, but she cut him off. I'm sure, Madison didn't even bother to say Taylor's name, understands you have more important commitments." The hallway had filled with students, silent witnesses to the scene unfolding. Taylor felt the weight of dozens of eyes on her, judging, speculating. "It's fine," Taylor said quickly, stepping back. "I need to go anyway." She turned and walked away fast, hearing Jack call her name behind her, but she didn't stop. She couldn't. If she did, they'd see the tears already spilling. She locked herself in a rarely used second-floor bathroom and finally broke down. She was being ridiculous. Jack couldn't possibly be interested in her. How could he be? He was him, and she was Taylor. The invisible girl. The one no one noticed. So why did it hurt so much? That night, Taylor made a decision. She couldn't keep living like this. Something had to change, not for Jack, not for Madison, not for anyone else on campus. For herself. Sitting on her bedroom floor, surrounded by fabric scraps, makeup samples, and her laptop open to tutorials she'd always been too afraid to follow, Taylor finally understood. It wasn't about becoming someone else. It was about finally letting the person she really was breathe. Taylor woke up Friday with a strange feeling in her chest. It wasn't exactly hope, but maybe it was the spark of something close to it. She ran a hand over her face and, instead of automatically grabbing the first oversized hoodie she could find, she stopped in front of her closet for a long moment. Her fingers brushed past the shapeless clothes she'd been hiding behind and reached the back, where a few pieces that had belonged to her mother were tucked away. She'd brought them with her when she left for college but had never had the courage to wear them. They were pretty. Feminine. Everything Taylor had taught herself to avoid. But something had shifted. The pain from the night before hadn't broken her, it had lit something inside her. She was tired. Tired of hiding. Tired of letting fear dictate every choice, every movement, every breath. Her phone buzzed. A message from her Aunt Claire, the only family member she'd stayed close to since starting college. "I was thinking about you, sweetheart. Remember, you're stronger than you think." Taylor smiled softly. Her aunt had perfect timing, without even knowing what was going on. She typed back a quick reply, then looked at herself in the mirror again. "Okay," she whispered to her reflection. "Let's begin." Beginning didn't mean an overnight transformation. It meant small, scary steps. That morning, Taylor simply styled her hair differently, letting a few strands fall around her face. She swapped the hoodie for a simple top, still comfortable, but one that actually fit. She went to class with her heart racing, bracing herself for comments or stares. But what she got was nothing. Absolutely nothing. No one even noticed. And that's when it hit her. She'd built such a massive prison in her own mind that even the smallest changes felt like earthquakes, when in reality, they were just her existing. Over the weekend, she stayed home. Not to hide, to work. She watched skincare videos, tried different hairstyles, organized her clothes, separating what she genuinely liked from what she wore out of fear. She called Aunt Claire, who stayed on the phone for 3 hours, gently reminding her that taking care of herself wasn't vanity, it was self-respect. "You were always beautiful, Taylor," Claire said firmly. "You just needed to believe it." The following Monday, Taylor wore one of her mother's blouses, light blue, simple but elegant. She left her hair down, neatly brushed, and added a touch of lip gloss. Small changes, but her heart pounded with every step she took across campus. That's when she saw Jack again. He was near the central fountain, talking with a few guys from the team. Their eyes met for a second, and Taylor saw something shift in his expression. Surprise, maybe? She quickly looked away and kept walking, but she could feel his gaze linger. "Taylor," he called. She stopped, took a breath, and turned around. Jack walked toward her with that effortless confidence that seemed to come naturally to him. "Hey," he said, smiling genuinely. "You look different. I mean, good. You always did, but," he stopped, running a hand through his hair, suddenly nervous. "Sorry, that came out weird." Taylor felt her cheeks warm. "Thanks," she said, managing a small smile. "Listen, about what happened last week," Jack continued, shoving his hands into his pockets. "Madison had no right to do that. And I should have been clearer about, well, the fact that I'm not interested in her. I never was. You don't owe me an explanation, Taylor replied, surprising herself with how steady her voice sounded. Maybe not, he said, but I want to give you one. Can I take you for coffee? Right now? Taylor hesitated. Every instinct screamed at her to say no, to protect herself, to avoid getting hurt. Then she remembered the girl who'd spent the weekend trying to find the courage just to exist. Okay, she said. Coffee at the campus cafe was unexpectedly easy. Jack asked about her architecture projects, showed genuine interest in her dreams, and even shared his own insecurities about always being in the spotlight. Sitting there, at that small table, Taylor realized he might not be the flawless, untouchable guy everyone imagined. But the lightness didn't last. When they walked outside, Madison was waiting, with her usual entourage. Her eyes swept over Taylor from head to toe, dripping with calculated disdain. How interesting, she said coolly. A few days ago you were invisible. Now you're trying so hard to be noticed. That's kind of sad, Taylor. Madison, stop, Jack said, but she ignored him. You really think changing your clothes changes who you are? Madison laughed, sharp and cruel. You're still the same boring girl. Jack's just having fun. Everyone knows that. Each word hit like a blade. Taylor felt her defenses start to crack. She looked at Jack, searching for something. Reassurance? Denial? But what she saw was hesitation, the weight of social pressure written all over him. You know what, Taylor said, her voice surprisingly calm, you're right about one thing, Madison. Changing clothes doesn't change who I am. Because I've always been myself, I was just hiding. But you? She met Madison's stare. You're cruel and empty, and no designer outfit is ever going to fill that. The silence was deafening. Madison went pale, then flushed with anger. Before she could respond, Taylor turned and walked away, legs shaking, heart pounding, but her head held high. She locked herself in the bathroom and cried. Not from defeat this time, but from sheer exhaustion. Fighting was tiring. Being strong was tiring. Trying to find yourself in all that noise was exhausting. Later that night, her phone buzzed. A message from Jack. You were incredible today. I'm sorry I didn't stand up more clearly. I'm trying to do better. Taylor stared at the screen for a long moment before replying. I am too. Over the next few days, something shifted on campus. People started noticing her, not because of how she looked, but because of how she carried herself. Taylor stopped shrinking in hallways. She lifted her chin. She met people's eyes. She spoke up in class and realized she had something worth saying. Her professors noticed. They encouraged her. And Jack. Jack kept showing up. Not in an overwhelming way, just steady. A sincere good morning. A comment about a project. A 5-minute conversation that turned into 15, then 30. Madison and her friends tried a few more times to tear her down, but Taylor had learned something crucial. Their words only had power if she allowed them to. And she was done allowing it. On a rainy afternoon, Taylor made her final decision. Standing in front of the mirror, she no longer saw the scared girl or the oversized armor. She saw herself. And she realized she needed time to finish finding who she was, away from judgment, pressure, and noise. She requested a 2-week leave, citing family matters, and went to stay with Aunt Claire. Somewhere she could breathe, think, and finally become fully who she'd always been. Taylor's car pulled into the campus parking lot on a bright Tuesday morning. 2 weeks had passed, 2 weeks that felt like a lifetime and a blink all at once. She turned off the engine and sat there for a moment, watching students move across campus through the windshield. Her heart was racing, but not with the paralyzing fear she once knew. This was anticipation. Excitement. The feeling of someone who was finally ready to show the world who she really was. Taylor grabbed her bag, not the worn-out backpack anymore, but a brown leather purse that had once belonged to her mother, and stepped out of the car. The low heel of her boot clicked softly against the pavement. She wore jeans that actually fit her, a crisp white linen top, and a lightweight jacket. Her hair, once always thrown up without a thought, fell in natural waves over her shoulders, catching the sunlight. Her makeup was subtle but intentional, just enough to highlight her green eyes and add color to her lips. But the biggest change wasn't on the outside. It was in the way she held her shoulders back, in the confident rhythm of her steps, in the soft, steady smile on her face as she walked toward the main building. The first to notice were two sophomores who stopped mid-step and simply stared. Then a group of girls near the entrance, their conversation dying halfway through a sentence. As Taylor crossed campus, a wave of silence followed her, broken only by hushed whispers and stunned looks. Who is that? Wait, is that? No way. Is that Taylor? Taylor? She heard them, but she didn't let it touch her. During those 2 weeks at Aunt Claire's house, Taylor had done something far more important than change her appearance. She had worked on herself. Long, honest conversations. Healing tears. Finally facing the fears and insecurities she'd carried since her teenage years. Her aunt had taken her to salons and stores, helped her discover her own style, but always reminded her. This is just the wrapping, sweetheart. The gift was always inside you. Taylor entered the architecture building and headed straight to her classroom. The lecture was about to start, but she arrived a few minutes early. As she stepped inside, the professor stopped mid-sentence, and the entire class turned to look at her. "Miss," he began, clearly not recognizing her. "Taylor Mitchell," she said clearly, smiling politely as she walked to a seat in the middle of the room, not the back, not hidden. A low murmur rippled through the class. She opened her sketchbook and waited for the lecture to begin, aware of the eyes on her but calm, centered. The real test came during the break. Taylor was grabbing a coffee when she heard a familiar, unpleasant voice behind her. Well, Madison said, approaching with Olivia and 2 other girls. "Look who decided to play makeover. You really think some makeup and new clothes change anything?" Taylor turned slowly, holding her cup steady. She looked Madison straight in the eyes, really looked, without flinching, without shrinking. "Madison," she said calmly, "do you know what I learned over the last 2 weeks? People like you are unhappy. And unhappy people try to make others feel small so they can feel big. But it doesn't work on me anymore." "How dare you?" Madison snapped, her face flushing. "I dare because I finally understand that your opinion of me doesn't define who I am," Taylor continued, her voice unwavering. "You can mock me, judge me, laugh if you want. That says a lot about you, and nothing about me. And honestly, I feel sorry for you." Olivia and the others exchanged awkward glances. Madison opened her mouth, then closed it, speechless for once. Taylor gave a polite nod and walked away, leaving them behind. She had just reached the hallway when she heard hurried footsteps. "Taylor! Taylor, wait! Jack!" He caught up to her, stopping in front of her, eyes wide. "Oh my God," he said, slightly out of breath. "You look. I don't even have words." Taylor smiled, but there was something different in her expression now, calm, grounded, sure. "Thank you," she said simply. "I texted you," Jack went on, running a hand through his hair in that nervous gesture she recognized. "You never replied. I was worried. I needed time," Taylor said. "For myself. To figure out who I really was, without all this pressure." He nodded slowly. "I get that. And listen, about everything that happened. Madison, me not taking a stronger stand." "Jack," she interrupted gently, "you don't have to explain. I realized something important. I don't need anyone to validate me. Not you. Not Madison. Not anyone. I'm enough on my own." He blinked, surprised by the depth of her words. "You're absolutely right," he said at last, admiration in his smile. "But, does that mean you wouldn't want to give us a chance?" Taylor studied him for a long moment. Jack Patterson, the guy everyone wanted, who could have anyone, stood there vulnerable, hopeful, genuinely interested. And she knew there was something real between them. But now she was coming from a place of strength, not need. "I would," she said finally, and saw his face light up. "But you need to understand something. I didn't change for you or for anyone else. I changed for me. And if we try this, it has to be because you truly see me, not just now, but before, too." "I did," Jack said immediately, with a sincerity that felt real. "Maybe I wasn't brave enough to say it out loud back then, but I saw you. Your incredible drawings. Your intelligence. Your quiet strength. The difference is, now you see yourself too." Tears welled in Taylor's eyes, good tears. Tears of relief. Of clarity. Of finally feeling understood. "Then let's take it slow," she said, holding out her hand. "Friends first. And we'll see where it goes." Jack took her hand, squeezing it gently. "Friends," he agreed, smiling. "But can I admit something? You look absolutely stunning." Taylor laughed, a real, free laugh that made her chest feel lighter. "I know," she said, surprising herself with her own confidence. As they walked together across campus, Taylor noticed the looks. She saw Madison watching from a distance, disbelief and anger written all over her face. She saw students pointing, whispering, admiring. But none of it mattered as much as the peace she finally felt inside. She had spent so long hiding, building walls, letting fear control every part of her life. Now she understood, real beauty, real strength, had always been there, just waiting for her to be brave enough to let it shine. "What are you thinking about?" Jack asked as they sat on a bench near the library. Taylor looked up at the blue sky, feeling the warm sun on her face. "I'm thinking about how much time I wasted worrying about what everyone else thought of me, and never asked myself what I thought of me. And what do you think?" She turned to him, a full, radiant smile lighting up her face. "I think I'm exactly who I'm meant to be. And that's more than enough." Jack smiled back, and in that moment, Taylor knew she'd finally found what she'd been searching for, not approval, not a fairy tale romance, but self-acceptance and self-love. The transformation wasn't just in the clothes, the hair, or the makeup. It was in the way she finally allowed the world to see who she had always been, a strong, talented, beautiful young woman who simply needed to believe in herself. And now, walking through the same hallways that once terrified her, hand in hand with the boy who chose to see her when no one else did, Taylor finally understood. She hadn't become someone new. She had simply become herself. Enjoyed the video? Smash that like button and subscribe for more awesome stories. I'll be waiting for you in the next story.